Imagine this. There was a guy, someone influential, someone respected, who started out just like anyone else, but then something incredible happened. He became one of the biggest supporters of Islam, not just a fan, a super fan. He praised Muslims constantly, spoke highly of their values, their unity, their faith, to the point where he shocked everyone by saying, "There is no true religion left in the world except Islam." That's not something you hear every day. This wasn't a casual compliment. This was a full-on transformation, a statement that left people speechless. What made him say that? What did he see? Whether it was the discipline, the generosity, or the sense of purpose, something moved him so deeply it changed his entire perspective on the world's religions.
So when I say Islam is the last religion on earth, I say it because it seems to be the only one who will stand up and say, no, we don't care. No, that's not what the book says. No.
Something insane just happened. Imagine someone who once defended Islam, someone who praised Muslims non-stop, someone who even said Islam is the only true religion left. And then, boom, they flipped. Out of nowhere, they started attacking Islam, mocking Muslims, and openly supporting those who fight against them. A complete 180th. So what happened? How does someone go from admiring Islam to turning their back on it completely? This isn't just about one person. This video will make you rethink everything you thought you knew about Andrew Tate and people like him. Because when the truth hits, it hits hard. Are you ready for it? The truth about Andrew Tate that no one wants to say out loud. You know Andrew Tate, the guy who blew up the internet, who couldn't stop showing up on your feed, who everyone had an opinion about. After getting out of prison, he shocked the world by announcing that he had converted to Islam. People were stunned. Had Tate really changed? At first I believed it too, but the deeper I looked, the more things stopped adding up. So I made this video to finally share my full opinion, because what I discovered paints a whole new picture of Andrew Tate. Let's go back to the beginning. Andrew Tate wasn't born rich. He grew up broke. He started out as a kickboxer, but quickly realized the money wasn't there. So he pivoted to a business that was dark, manipulative, even disgusting. Since he already knew some women from his fight days, he convinced them to work for him, luring lonely guys online into fake relationships. They sold fake fantasies, meaningless promises, and charged real money for them. Tate started making thousands of dollars a day, and he admitted it himself. The money wasn't clean. But he didn't care, because in his mind, money is money, and that's the key to understanding him. This is a man who had no values, no lines he wouldn't cross. For him, money justified everything, even if it meant destroying the same young men he claimed to be helping. But here's the twist. Tate says he wants to make men stronger, more masculine, but at the same time, he's exploiting those same men emotionally by feeding them lies, using women as bait. He sells a dream, then laughs while cashing the checks. But Tate didn't stop there. Money wasn't enough. He wanted global fame. So he launched something called Hustlers University, charging $50 a month to join. But here's the genius and shady part. If you wanted to rank up in the university, you had to post videos about Andrew Tate. The more you posted, the more you earned, and the more people you brought in, the higher you climbed. It was a pyramid scheme of fame, and it worked. Millions of videos, billions of views. Tate didn't go viral by accident, he engineered it. And then, everything changed again. Suddenly, he started praising Islam, talking about values, boundaries, respect, discipline. He spoke about Muslim morals like he lived by them his whole life. But why? What made a man who made millions from exploiting women, selling lies, and chasing fame suddenly fall in love with a religion built on honor and humility? Was it real? Was it strategy? Was it just the next moves in the game? In this video, we're diving into all of it. Because if Andrew Tate can flip like that, we have to ask, what does he really stand for?
That's how much they believe and respect. And I respect people who stick up for what they believe in.
Yeah.
It's not even about me believing in it. I respect them because they believe and they will defend. Muslims are the only people who will defend their religion. They will defend their beliefs. They refuse to be mocked. They refuse to be insulted. And I respect that about them. I respect that. That's an amazing thing about them.
The dark twist behind Andrew Tate's conversion to Islam. So Andrew Tate announces he's Muslim, Everyone hears about it, headlines explode, TikToks go viral, but there's one thing no one tells you. He converted before going to jail, not after, and that one detail made people start to question everything. Was it real, or was it just strategy? See, a lot of Muslims, and even non-Muslims, started wondering if Tate only became Muslim to win support from the Muslim world, and guess what? It worked. He got massive support. People made videos defending him, debated scholars, and even made public statements all to stand by his side. But when he got out of prison, things took a strange turn. At first he seemed like he was genuinely trying. He was quoting Quran verses, sharing Islamic values, talking about faith. But then he started making huge mistakes. And I'm not just talking about little slip-ups, we're talking about major contradictions. Like one time, he literally said, he is a god. Not metaphorically, literally, and another time, he said he was going to a Christian church to worship Jesus during a holiday and light candles there, which is literally a form of religious ritual in Christianity. For someone claiming to follow Islam, this isn't just confusing, it's outrageous. It made a lot of people stop and ask, was he ever serious about converting in the first place? Or was this just the next move in his strategy? Because if you truly understand Islam, you'd know how serious these statements are. This video isn't to cancel anyone, but it is to ask the hard questions. Because if someone with this much influence is misrepresenting a religion, millions of people could get the wrong message. And that's dangerous. Stick around, because we're only just scratching the surface.
So we are going to church.
Well, I'm going.
So it's midnight and we're going to worship Jesus.
Yeah.
So we're a bunch of guys getting in their supercars on a mission to go and praise Jesus.
Basically, yeah.
Praise the Lord.
Let's go. Amen.
The truth about Andrew Tate that nobody wants to say out loud. At first, everyone gave him the benefit of the doubt. They said, he's a new Muslim. He just converted and then went straight to jail. He didn't even get the chance to learn his religion, and that made sense for a while. But it's been 2 years, and Andrew Tate still doesn't understand the core meaning of La ilaha illallah, the most fundamental phrase in Islam. He can't explain the Shahada, and worse, he says things that no Muslim would ever say, like claiming he'll worship Jesus in a church because it's a Christian holiday, and lighting candles, a form of religious ritual. How does that make sense? How can someone say, there is no God but Allah, and then say they're going to worship someone else? Let's be honest, that's not confusion. That's a massive contradiction. So here's the question. Why was Andrew Tate praising Muslims in the first place? Because Muslims correct each other. They give real advice. They stand for truth. He loved that about them, but when he's corrected, when people say, hey, that's not Islamic, you can't say that, this goes against everything you claim to believe in, he ignores it, or worse, defends it. And that's the scary part, because when someone has millions of followers in Anin and they spread confusion about faith, they're not just misleading themselves, they're misleading everyone watching. So the real question isn't, is Andrew Tate still Muslim? The real question is, does Andrew Tate actually know what Islam even means? Stick around, because what I'm about to show you might completely change the way you see him and others like him. This isn't hate, this is holding people accountable, and that's what truth really looks like.
So when I say Islam is the last religion on earth, I say it because it seems to be the only one who will stand up and say, no, we don't care, no, that's not what the book says, no.
The moment Andrew Tate showed his true colors. So let's get this straight. When it was his turn to make mistakes, not small ones, we're talking massive, public, disastrous mistakes, what did he do? Did he accept advice? Did he show humility? Did he admit he was wrong? Not even close. Instead of listening to people who genuinely cared, he attacked them. Anyone who tried to correct him? Blocked. Literally blocked them online as if advice was some kind of threat. One by one, every well-known Muslim who tried to reach out to him, blocked. No discussion, no reflection, no accountability. He didn't want to hear it. He didn't even want to see it. And it didn't stop there. He went so far as to insult those who advised him, mocked them, questioned their masculinity. Even though they approached him with respect, with kindness, with the intention to help. Just like Brother Jake, who gave him sincere advice, calmly and respectfully, and what did he get in return? A block and an insult. So let me ask you, what kind of man says he wants to guide the youth, but Rabat can't even take advice himself? What kind of leader teaches discipline, but blocks anyone who tells him the truth? This isn't about hating Andrew Tate, this is about realizing the difference between real change versus a performance. And sometimes it takes a closer look to see what's really going on.
To proclaim proudly what? That Andrew Tate is their Lord. He's their Rabb. He's their God. And he's telling people to bow down to him.
Andrew Tate, the moment the mask slipped. So you remember when Muslims used to advise others and Andrew Tate praised them for it? He used to say, Muslims correct each other. That's strength. He respected that. But then, when it was his turn to be corrected, he flipped. Someone gave him advice. He didn't just reject it. He attacked their masculinity, insulted them, used words I won't even repeat. He went from admiring correction to blocking every single person who dared to advise him. Literally, left and right, block after block, every famous Muslim who said a word of truth to him. Gone. Why? Because this man wants the rules to apply to everyone except himself. And then he said it. God's plan for me is bigger than your criticism. Let that sink in. He literally claimed that his fame, fortune, and influence were proof that God is pleased with him. As if wealth equals righteousness, as if status equals morality, so what about the poor man who prays at dawn, the mother raising her kids in war-torn lands? Is God not pleased with them? That's narcissism at its peak. That's a man who sees himself above everyone. But then it got worse. Much worse. He started praising Ustatil far-right extremists. One of them takes millions in funding from a certain unnamed country to fight Islam across Europe. He started speaking against refugees, claiming they're invading Europe, spreading crime, and destroying society. Sound familiar? That's the Great Replacement Theory, a racist conspiracy believed by white supremacists. People escaping war, famine, and death are suddenly the enemy? That's not wisdom, that's propaganda. And then, every time a crime happened in Europe, he pointed fingers. It was a Muslim. No facts, no trial, just blame. And guess what? He wasn't alone. He started quoting far-right sources as if they were absolute truth. Just 2 weeks ago, after a crime in Germany, he sat on a podcast with a right-wing American guest and said, I just heard on the way here, a Muslim committed a terrorist attack. No evidence, no investigation, just blame, just narrative. This isn't just about Andrew Tate anymore, this is about a pattern, a shift, a mask that's slipping, and the question is, why are so many still defending him?
Guess what I saw in the car on the way here? A terror attack in Germany. A car attack. You see it?
Yep, this morning.
A Muslim ran over a bunch of white people in Germany this morning. But the white people in Germany can't band together to fight against it because then they are what?
Racist.
Nazis.
Opening scene. Intense music, fast cuts of Andrew Tate clips, headlines, debates. Narrator, with urgency. Imagine a man who once praised Islam like it was the only truth left in the world. He called out other religions, lifted Muslims high, and eventually declared he had converted. That man? Andrew Tate. Cut to dramatic silence, black screen. But then everything flipped. Narrator. Suddenly, he started attacking the very religion he embraced. He mocked Muslims. He praised people known for hating Islam. He even said, brace yourself, that he might worship Jesus in a church and light candles during Christian holidays. Wait, what? Flashback montage, Andrew praising Islam versus Andrew contradicting Islamic beliefs. Narrator, with disbelief. People were confused. Isn't this the same guy who said Islam is the only true religion? Many Muslims gave him the benefit of the doubt. He's new, they said. He was in prison and didn't have time to learn. But here's the thing. It's been over 2 years. And he still doesn't know what La ilaha illallah means. He doesn't understand the basic declaration of faith. Narrator, frustrated. And when someone tries to explain, he doesn't listen. In fact, he blocks them. He blocked almost every famous Muslim who respectfully corrected him. He even insulted a brother, Jake, who spoke to him with full respect. Cut to a reenactment, text messages popping up, blocks, insults. Narrator, shocked. This is the same guy who once said Muslims are strong because they correct each other. But when it's his turn, suddenly everyone becomes an enemy, a hater. He literally said, God's plan for me is bigger than your criticism. As if fame and fortune prove he's righteous, that's next level narcissism. Transition to darker tone. Narrator. But it gets worse. He started openly supporting far-right extremists. One of them? He literally gets millions of dollars, from a country known for fighting Islam globally. Together, they started blaming Muslim refugees for every crime in Europe. He hinted they're trying to invade Europe. That's not just hate, that's the Great Replacement Theory. The same theory believed by racists and white supremacists. And when a crime happens, no investigation, no facts. Tate jumps on a podcast and says, it must be a Muslim. Flashback, German news story falsely blamed on Muslims. Narrator. But guess what? The attacker turned out to be a white Christian far-right extremist. Did Tate apologize? Nope. He moved on, like it never happened. And this isn't the first time. He's done this again, and again, and again. Narrator, outraged. Then, on the same podcast, he literally said, kick Muslims out of Europe. Yes, a Muslim, but telling people to kick Muslims out, just wow. Cut to his controversial statements about race went Narrator, mocking tone. Oh, and the guy who keeps saying I'm not racist? He said that because his dad is black and his mom is white. He can do math and run fast. What? That's some 1800s-style Darwinist racism. Narrator. By the way, his dad, who's black, was one of the smartest chess players in the world. So is he dumb? Of course not, but Tate's logic says otherwise. Closing montage, contradictions, hypocrisy, chaos. Narrator. This man says, kick out the refugees, then says, vote for me in Britain. Dude, by your own logic, you should be kicked out. You're half black. You're not even fully white. What are you doing? Narrator, calm but serious. If you're still defending him blindly, I'm sorry, but you're being played. Final scene, face to camera, emotional tone. Narrator. This isn't about hate, it's about the truth, about protecting people from being misled. You want to support him? Fine. But don't ignore the facts. Don't call someone a new Muslim when he's been Muslim for years and still doesn't know the basics, and don't let someone mock your religion while pretending to defend it. Because the truth matters. Opening scene, intense music, quick-cut visuals of Andrew Tate, mosques, churches, viral tweets. What if I told you the man who shook the internet, who claimed Islam publicly but might not even be Muslim? Yeah, I know. Sounds insane, but let me explain. See, when Andrew Tate announced his conversion to Islam, people went wild. Muslims around the world cheered, supported him, and gave him the benefit of the doubt. They said, he's a new Muslim. He just needs time. They forgave every mistake, every slip, every outrageous statement. But 2 years have passed, 2 years, and guess what? He still doesn't know what La ilaha illallah actually means. Cut to clip of Andrew Tate making contradictory statements. At one point, he literally said, I'm Muslim in Muslim countries and Christian in Christian countries. Wait, what? Is this a belief system or a social strategy? People started asking questions, like, does this guy even know what Islam is? Because the things he's doing, they're not small slip-ups. They're massive contradictions. He mocks Islamic teachings, supports far-right extremists who openly attack Muslims, and even promotes people who campaign to deport Muslims from Europe. He talks about brown-skinned people like they're a problem. He plays both sides to keep his fame intact. And here's the scary part. Cut to dramatic B-roll of protests, refugee camps, far-right marches. He openly appeared on podcasts with people who literally get paid millions to fight Islam in Europe. He hears one news headline about a crime in Germany and immediately says, "It was a Muslim. Germans need to stand up." Then a few days later turns out it was a white German extremist. Did he apologize? Nope. Just brushed it off like it never happened. And this isn't the first time. This cycle keeps repeating. He blames Muslims first, facts later. Camera zooms in, serious tone. But here's where it gets worse. He once said, "My dad was black and my mom was white. That's why I can run fast and do math." Are you kidding me? That's literally textbook racial stereotyping, the kind of thing that would get anyone else cancelled in 5 seconds. Yet people still say, he's just misunderstood. Bro, his own father, a black man, was a chess genius. You really gonna say he couldn't do math? Come on. Quick montage of Tate fans online defending him. Now I get it. A lot of people look up to Andrew Tate. He's confident, he's rich, he says bold stuff. But confidence doesn't make someone right. Let's stop idolizing someone just because he's famous and said, "I'm Muslim" once. Islam doesn't need Andrew Tate, or 10 million Andrew Tates. This religion stands strong with or without celebrities. If someone wants to become Muslim, great, welcome. But if they start playing both sides, saying I'm Christian here and Muslim there, while promoting hate and confusion, we need to speak up. Final message, soft piano music, face-to-camera moment. So Andrew, if you're really Muslim, prove it. Explain why you're standing with people who want to erase Muslims from Europe. Explain why you get mad when people correct you, but praised Muslims for correcting others. And if you're not Muslim, just say it, because Islam isn't a brand you wear when it's convenient. It's a way of life. And to everyone watching, please stop worshipping fame. Just because someone's famous doesn't mean they deserve your loyalty. Thanks for watching. If you felt this, hit like, share this with someone who needs to hear it. See you in the next video. Peace.